All right, so we're back. If you watched that optional, kind of boring video, we're now moving on to an exciting and non-optional video, which is all about the project we're going to make. So we're going to build a simple web app to start using Node and MySQL together. So what is this app? Well, it's called Join Us, and it's a a startup mailing list application. So you've probably seen this before when there's a new company that's launched. Maybe you haven't, but if there's a new company that's launched, they're not quite ready yet, but they want to get their name out there. They want to start getting interested parties registered or collecting their information so they can send updates, or so they can invite them, once the application is launched. So that's what we're going to build, basically a way of collecting people's emails, and it looks like this. Now, I'm not, a great designer in any way. That's not the focus of this course. Hopefully you think it looks okay enough. But really what I just want to go over are the different features. Now, it's not very feature rich. The point is to make something simple, but to show you how we're connecting with MySQL through Node, and how this application kind of showcases both selecting information and inserting information. So the first thing you'll see, there's a photo here, and we don't have to worry about copyright or licensing issues. I actually took this photo. It's a bit of a brag, I guess. Sorry. But back to the content here. We've got join us in big letters, and then we've got enter your email to join, and then a number here, and this number changes. So 518 is basically the count of all the users currently in our database. So when I made kind of this, what will I call this, the alpha version that I made screenshots of, that I made before, I have to make the app before I teach it. So when I made this version, I had 518 users in the waitlist, in the database. We are 100% not a cult. Then the other thing is this enter your email, join now button, which you enter an email, it's going to take that email address and insert it into our database. So there's kind of two things we're doing, right? Selecting, we're going to count how many users are in the database. We don't need all the information. We don't need 518 email addresses. We just want to know how many. And then we want to be able to insert something from a form. When you click this button, it's going to go send the data to our Node server. Then the Node server is going to send it over to the MySQL database, wait to see if it worked or not. And then it will do something, we'll decide what it does. Does it take you to a new page? Does it just refresh the page? Does it show you a message that says you're signed up? Whatever it does. But the key really is about adding information to our database and getting information out. Okay, so that's how it basically works. Let me show it to you. Here I am. I've got join us. Let's create a new user here. Let's call it, how about bluethecat@gmail.com. We click join now. And you can see it takes us back, which we can decide what to do. If we want to change that, I'll show you how. But now it says we've got 519 on our wait list. And I can refresh, I can stop the server, which we'll see how to do in a little bit. This will be 519. This isn't hard coded in. This is coming straight from the database. Okay, so that's it. Now let's talk about how it works. What's the workflow like? When I go on my computer, like I just did, and I refresh the page, or I enter that address, and I hit enter, a request is sent to our Node.js server, which we'll see how to set up in a little bit. And the Node.js server has code that says, oh, okay, this client is asking for our homepage. Well, on the homepage, we're supposed to have a number here of the total number of users in our database. So let's ask, hello, MySQL database, can you tell me how many users are in the database? And hopefully you're aware that would be a count. So we do a select count star from users. That will come back and we'll say, ideally, 518 or whatever it is, 1,000 users. And then my server, the code there, takes that number and it plugs it in, puts it right here, and it sends us the page. Sends it back, and I see the page. Same thing, roughly the same thing happens when I enter my email and I click join now. I'm sending my information, my email, to the Node.js server with a message basically saying, I want to add this. I'm signing up. So then my server says, oh, this time this person is trying to sign up. They're not just asking for the homepage. They're trying to sign up. Okay, MySQL, I'd like to insert this user with this email address. Then MySQL will say that worked, or, oh, we actually already have a user with that email, so we can't do that. Or something else. Maybe there's an error. That will be sent back. Node.js figures out what to do. Do I send an error message, or do I send a congratulations success message? Do I just take them back to the homepage and refresh it? That's, the decisions that are made here. So that's the basics. But then the next thing is, where do we start? There's a lot of pieces here, right? We have to talk about Node.js, installing that. We have to talk about how it communicates with MySQL. We have to talk about creating web apps in HTML and CSS and JavaScript, all this stuff. There's a lot of moving pieces. So where do we start? Well, we're starting with this handy dandy green box. We'll draw your attention to the right side of the screen, which tells you we're starting basically with the relationship between Node.js and MySQL. How do we talk from JavaScript to MySQL? So we're going to start with basic things, like I want to select the current date from JavaScript, or I want to insert a single user into MySQL. So no web app. This whole left side of the screen will be gone for the first part. But then once we have this relationship established, we figured out how to insert a user. We figured out how to select all users or select the count. Then we will then kind of expand into the web application and add in the logic for creating a web app. So that's our game plan. We're starting with this side. So the very last thing to discuss is what our table will look like. So for this web app, very simple, right? All that we need to store for every user, and we'll just call it users. We could call it, emails or interested people or whatever, wait listers, but we'll go with users. And all we need to store is their email address, right? That's the key thing, and that's all they're entering. But it's also would be really useful to store a created at. So we'd have a timestamps for when that user was created so that we could do things like figure out when most of our users signed up, or what day of the week most users are signing up, or just count how many users we've had, this year compared to last year. So it's really nice to have created at. It's very simple as well. So those are the two fields we'll be working with, the two columns, and that's it. Nice and simple. And then the other thing to discuss is our game plan from here on out. And our first goal, we talked about how we're only working with this side of the table or of this diagram. What we're going to work up to is using Node.js to randomly generate and insert over 500 users into our database. So I had like 518 users in there. They all had unique emails. I did not code those by hand. I used a tool that generates them for me. And then I'm going to take that and insert them into our database. So basically shows you the power of using a language like Node, that we can very, very quickly generate data and not have to waste time getting 500 test users in there. So that's the first goal we're working up towards in this section.